Welcome to Jumpstart, the podcast designed for recording artists looking to jumpstart their cities by jumpstarting their careers in the ministry. This is Victor, your music mentor. Join me as I talk to artists, producers, and music professionals about their success, frustrations, and triumphs as it relates to the music industry. If you would like more information about the Jumpstart initiative, visit www.sanctifiedsound.org. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Jumpstart. This is Victor Smith, your music mentor, and this is a podcast designed for recording artists looking to jumpstart their cities by jumpstarting their careers in ministry. I'm sitting here with a legend in the game, my brother Charles Chanier. What's happening, man?
What's going on, man?
Bro, I'm so glad you got a chance to come out here and out of your busy schedule, you know, working with the plethora of artists that you've had over the years. Oh man, God, it's so good to see you, man.
You too, man.
How's everything going with you?
And everything is great, man. Just blessed. Just out here trying to take care of my family, man.
Yeah. What kind of stuff are you doing now?
As it relates to music?
Just music, just whatever, you know.
Right now I'm kind of just helping out a lot of different artists, people who looking for help. More like a mentoring state. So that's pretty much mostly. And I've been doing like a lot of little production underhand, under the table type stuff. So
yeah. Man, you've been in this game for a minute, man. Like, when did you tell me about when you got started? You know, doing music. Like, what inspired you? What was the first steps that you took to get into this?
Getting into music. I started off years ago. Years ago. I used to go into this store called Live Music almost every day. Mm-hmm. And I would go in there and make tracks on their equipment because I couldn't afford my own equipment.
Right.
So I would go in there in the store, spend hours of a day just making tracks till one day some guys from Universal Records just so happened to be in there.
Wow.
They were working on some stuff with Master P and Mystical and all those guys.
Yeah.
And they were like, man, you know, you're talented, you know, you have a gift, you know, you just need somebody to kind of help groom, you know, your gift. And so they was like, would you be interested by, you know, in coming by the studio? I was like, yes.
I know, right?
You know, I'm a young guy. Like, yes, I would. So I went by the studio and the rest just been history, man.
Yeah, man, what was that experience like, you know, working with those cats?
Man, it was a great experience because I learned a lot. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot, not just as far as track making or making beats and stuff, but it taught me a lot as far as, you know, just character, the way you carry yourself. Them guys, they poured a lot into me. They taught me character. They taught me the importance of, you know, just the way you carry yourself. They taught me, you know, the business side, and that's what's very important. They explained to me how a lot of people in the industry, they don't understand the business side of it. And a lot of people really don't want to understand it. And that's why you find so many people getting messed over.
Right. So, I see that a lot, man. People just not taking care of the other side. People just want to do the music, don't want to take care of the business.
Right. And they taught me the importance of really knowing every aspect as it relates to music. They said, you know, and they explained to me, even though I may not necessarily specialize in those certain categories, but just having a simple knowledge of every aspect that there is, from the engineering to the track making to the artistry to the media or publications, just everything.
Yeah. And
you know, once you have knowledge of every aspect, it just gives you a step above everybody else because can't nobody really mess over you because you know what you're doing.
Yeah. When you talk about specialty, like what's your special interest in what you love to do in the process?
My special interest, as far as the process, it just depends on what season you catch me in, man.
Feel like an interviewer today.
Because sometimes I love just being strictly engineering. Mm-hmm. And then there are times where the creative side comes back and I want to get back into production. Mm-hmm. I think in this particular season, my heart is more geared toward the ministry side of it or mentoring. Side of it.
Yeah.
You know, so
you're doing a lot of mentoring with artists at this point.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of mentoring with a lot of different people across that kind of seek me for, I guess, some sort of wise counsel.
Yeah, and I see that a lot of times where I think there's a drop off in the mentorship as far as like the new artists coming up.
Right.
It's almost like, we talked before this about, being a fatherless generation.
Right.
That's the same way these artists are. They just don't have someone to come in and say, hey, no, don't do it this way, do it this way.
Right.
Don't talk to this person, don't record like this. This is the way that you do it. Kind of how it used to be. Yeah. And so I'm so glad that there are people still out there mentoring artists. I mean, you need to know, a lot of these artists need to know that there's somebody that's out there ready to give them all the wisdom in the world and everything. So who was the people that mentored? Was it just those people, or was it somebody outside of Universal Records?
It was those people who were in Universal Records that kind of mentored me at that time. A guy named Ken McMillan, he took me under his wings. At the time, Orlando Henry was one of the studio musicians, and he took me. Actually, he's the one who trained me into the proper way into making tracks and and just musicianship. So he really poured a lot into me. And it seemed like me and him just been inseparable ever since. But yeah, it was guys like that who poured into me. And then of course, as years went on, I was able to meet, a lot of other guys. Israel Holton's producer, Aaron Lindsay.
Oh yeah.
I've had the opportunity to meet him a few times, and he poured a lot into me as well. Gave me a lot of wise counsel. My mentor right now, Antonio O'Neill, has poured a lot into me over the years and still consistently pouring into me.
Yeah, so, he's still a mentor of yours?
Yeah, he's still a mentor as of right now.
Man, see, you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because I was just thinking about different artists, how they don't practice, how they don't, they feel like, hey, I'm too good for this, or, it's wild to see, listen to, people like Yolanda Adams and CeCe Winans and Beyonce, people like that. They all have those vocal coaches. They also have those mentors. And so you can never really get away from that stuff. I mean, especially if you're trying to be great. Who are we to say that, that I'm too good for this? You know what I'm saying? So that's good to hear that, man. So tell me about yourself. Like, what's been going on in your personal life? I know you got a family and everything, and, got a couple youngins. Yeah.
Man, father of 4 girls.
Wow.
Married. Minister, musician. Work.
Yeah,
all of the above, man. So
yeah, just keeping it busy, keeping all those plates spinning and everything.
Yeah, just trying to keep everything balanced.
I don't know if you want to talk about this, but what are you working on right now?
Right now, at the current moment, I'm currently working on an EP for myself entitled Heart Transplant.
Yeah,
and Heart Transplant pretty much came through me through a message that God gave me about a year and a half ago, and he was just explaining to me how the human heart is the most corrupt thing of all, and then there was another scripture in Ezekiel where he talked about the fact that he wants to take the old stony heart and replace it with a new one. And basically, it led me to, that's basically what a heart transplant is.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I have a song on it called Heart Transplant. Another one that talks about the importance of holiness and how we need to get back to holiness, because holiness is still right. Of course, the media today is trying to deter us away from holiness.
Right.
But we need to get back to holiness, because that's what God is truly calling us to be. Another song on it talks about, called Secret Storms, and it's just talking basically to those that's in the body of Christ, those that are in a lot of leadership positions and hold a lot of different platforms, but they're fighting those secret battles in their life. A lot of times we're looking at them and they're smiling, they seem to be uplifted, they're always encouraging everybody else, but what we don't see is behind the underneath the surface, how they're hurting.
Right.
They're really crying out, for God, because not only are they carrying their own battles and issues, but they're also carrying the weight of so many others. And a lot of times we don't see it,
Yeah.
And so it's, just songs that's just ministry that's talking to issues that, everybody is pretty much relating to. So been working on the EP for myself. Also, my wife and her sister, they're working on the project. So
wow,
I've been working on some stuff with them.
Yeah.
And many other people across Israel Martin. Me and him been collaborating on a lot of stuff.
Good.
Lately. Ernest and Erica Jackson, we've been collaborating on some stuff. So just trying to keep my hands busy. And Tony O'Neill, so just.
That's cool, man. Yeah. That's cool. Now, I know everyone's definition of success is different. Like, my definition is different from your definition because of your stage in life or, your experiences and everything. So, at this point, what would you say that, hey, I'm living a successful life? Like, how do you categorize that?
At this point, and not to sound too cliche-ish or too super spiritual, but honestly, it's really like the state that I'm in at this point in time. But to me, success is when you're walking in the light that God has for you. When you're really striving to do the things God has called you to do and the purpose that He's placed you here, that's a level of success. When you're striving to really be like Christ. We say we all claim we're quote unquote Christians, but a Christian is simply someone who is Christ-like. Yeah. And so we have to ask ourselves the question: are we really and truly Christ-like? Are we really like Christ? And so, if you're really truly striving to be Christ-like or a Christian, then to me that would be success. Because the Bible tells us to seek ye first the kingdom of heaven above all, above everything else, and everything is gonna, is gonna come. Everything else is just gonna flow. Yeah. So to me, that's what success is for me at this point in my life.
Yeah. So when you look at your life as compared to someone else, is it someone that you can relate to as far as like being where you want to be in the future?
At this point, I don't know. I mean, of course, like years ago, I used to look up to a lot of different artists, a lot of different people, producers, and I always said I wanted to be like those individuals. And then what happened was God started opening doors for me to actually be amongst those particular people, even some of the greats. And in the process of me being around those people that I said I wanted to be like, of course, I was able to see, I was able to see their strengths, but I was also able to see a lot of their weaknesses as well. And so it opened up my eyes to realize that a lot of times we, I guess, idolize people. And what happens is we strive so much to be like those individuals till we miss the process of being who we are, right? Our own individuality of who Christ really created us to be. At this point, it's really no particular person that I look to and say I want to be like that person. Again, not to sound so super spiritual, but my goal is to want to be more like Christ. Yeah. And just praying that He placed the right people among me to help. Guide me, or those, those mentors in life to kind of help, keep me accountable. So,
I talk to a lot of artists nowadays, and one of the biggest things is that I see them getting frustrated. They get frustrated with their career a lot of times because they don't know what they're doing, and they run into brick walls, and sometimes we get so super spiritual. That's like God saying no, right. And we got to understand that, hey, that's just a redirection. So I know you've had a lot of those moments in your life, in your career. I mean, can you speak on any of them?
I've had many frustrations. I had many letdowns. One, to be exact, one of my artists and I, we had just come back from the Stella Awards. God had opened the door for us to go to the Stellas. We went. They had to perform at one of the venues that they had going on. And while we were there, God opened up like many other doors. And it also allowed us to realize that there are a lot of people who we looked up to in the industry. They actually knew who we were.
Wow.
And because they actually knew who we were, it opened up doors for us to go to a lot of the private venues that they had going on. And it just opened up so many doors. So basically it was kind of like, man, I'm finally about to walk into the dream.
Right.
And we were able to go to the Stellas free of charge. We got free tickets to go to the Stellas. We sitting on the floor with all the celebs. I mean, everything. We in the mix, dog.
Yeah, in there.
We in there. We come back home from the Stellas. Phone just blowing up. I mean, call after call after call. I'm talking about from the greats. Wanting to work with me, want me to do this, want me to work on that, and stuff like that. Or just simply wanting to have lunch and just hang out and talk. Mm-hmm. And the story that I get was all of my studio equipment was gone. Everything that I had worked hard for, and I mean, I had equipment beyond equipment beyond equipment, and everything was gone. Wow. And for me, it was a letdown because I was like, come on, God. Like, I prayed, I seeked, I cried. I was like, like, what's up? Like, I worked hard. I finally got to this point. It seemed like I'm right here at the breakthrough. Everybody's calling me. Everybody wanting to work with me. And then, boom, slap in the face. Everything gone. I don't have the funds to be trying to, buy this and buy that.
Yeah.
So at the time, it was a real big letdown for me. Mm-hmm. But now that I can look back on that time, I can now say that honestly, it was the greatest thing that God could have ever done for me.
Yeah.
Because even though I was working hard, I was striving, doors was opening, but I was also distracted by my own success.
Yeah.
And because of the distraction, I wasn't doing what Christ really wanted me to do. That's just being honest.
Yeah.
I had a lot of, secret issues that was going on within me. And so it took God to separate me from that to clean me up and fix me, and now placing me back out there. Yeah. Now that He's groomed me and shaped me and molded me for what He really wants me to do.
Yeah.
And so that was the frustration.
That's crazy, man. I thought I heard about something like that, but I mean, I just didn't understand how pivotal that is. I mean, when you lose, everything that you worked for,
right.
Up to that point, I mean, you lose your primary means of ministry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I love the fact that you said that, that could have been the best thing that ever happened to you, because God knows how to humble you, in certain situations. And I see that, artists naturally, they go through ups and downs and everything. Right. And when the artists that you work with, who can you say that, what do you think that most artists struggle with as far as their frustrations and everything is concerned?
Well, I've observed that most artists struggle with, as far as the frustration that they deal with, is especially what I see in today's artists, is people don't really want to put the work in. A lot of people, they look at the success or they look at the promise, but what they fail to realize is the process to the promise.
Yeah.
And that's what most people, they want the promise, but they don't want the process.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you look at Joseph, even though Joseph knew what the promise was, but there was a process that he had to go through that consisted of a lot of heartaches, a lot of head bumping and issues that he had to go through in order to get to what the promise was. And so that's what I see most artists deal with. They want the promise, but they don't want to deal with the process to the promise.
Right. And what do you think is as far as like a general process?
It's work.
Yeah.
It's work. Especially in this day and time, the music industry has changed a lot. Back in the day, like in our time, the issue with the thing was to try to get signed to a label, because the label was going to pretty much do all the work for you.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was just show up and just present your gift. But now, the industry has shifted. So now when labels, they're no longer looking for artists that they take and, and groom they looking for people who already doing the work. They looking for people who already have a following.
Yeah.
They looking for people who already, out there laboring, and they pretty much got their own street team, and they selling themselves,
right.
and they looking for somebody who already working toward it without the resources, so they, and that's where it has changed. And the thing is, nobody really wants to get out there and labor and work,
right.
And sweat.
Yeah, there's a few people that's actually out there, literally that came from here, D1 being one of them,
right.
Just constantly on the grind, being innovative, thinking 3 steps ahead
right.
on what's going on. And do you think that it's because of a lack of vision or a lack of knowledge on how to work, or is it just the fact that people are lazy?
Honestly, I would say, and it probably sounds cruel or mean, I would say that it's the fact of people. Well, of course it is a fact. With some cases, it's a fact of just a lack of knowledge. Mm-hmm. But mostly, I would say it's just straight laziness.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to work. Mm-hmm. Especially in this generation. As just relates to life, like this generation, a lot of people, they feel privileged or entitled. Mm-hmm. They feel like they're entitled to something. A lot of people, they feel that because I can go in church and I can sing and everybody's crying, and screaming, and they're calling me anointed, oh, I'm called to the nations.
Right.
So they feel like because I can do this, I'm supposed to be, and which you very well could be. That could be your call to the nations. But what you have to realize in music, even in the gospel realm, it's not, you should be anointed, but it's also a business side about it too. Mm-hmm. So it's what separates you from all the million other anointed people that's out there.
Yeah. Because
you're not the only anointed one. There are a million other people that's just as anointed as you are. Yeah. So what is it that's going to separate you from all these other people?
Yeah.
So I would say it's just a sense of laziness and people just feeling entitled,
right.
like I'm owed this.
Right. There's a saying that says, work beats talent when talent don't work.
Right.
So it happens every time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: is what do you think that people are doing wrong as far as the people that are trying to get out there? What's some of the stumbling blocks and or something that they're doing that's not heading in the right direction as far as their career is concerned?
I guess it would really depend on the individual itself. It would really, I guess it depends. It really depends on the individual because there is a work ethic. There is a goal. I mean, one thing you have to create is a goal, where you want to get. Of course, after you figured out what your goal is, then you have to create the steps to achieve that particular goal. I would say probably most people, they set a goal, but of course they set the big goal, which nothing is wrong with the big goal, but you need to set some small goals that help you achieve to getting to the bigger goal. For instance, like right now, we have a lot of people, or independent artists or inspiring artists, who are in Las Vegas right now at the Stella Awards. They spending hundreds and thousands of dollars to go to the Stella Awards so that they can be amongst people who we consider to be the greats. But then you got a project at home that you're not even really finishing. Now you probably can't even afford to finish, or you have to delay because the money that you had set aside to finish this project, you just wasted it going to the Stella Awards to be amongst people who already have their work done. They already achieved what you're trying to accomplish. So you down here trying to mingle with these people, and you mingle with them. I'm an inspiring artist. Well, man, you got something I can check out? Well, no, I don't really have anything right now, but I'm working on it though.
Yeah.
Well, man, hand me, you got a card? Well, no, I don't have no card.
Just out there.
You just out there.
No purpose, no
So
goals.
your priorities mixed up. You know, because you so focused on being out here so that you can take a selfie and post on social media and be like, well, hey, I'm hanging out with such and such and such.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But how is that helping your career?
It's not.
How is that
great.
helping you?
I hope that it helps, You better get somebody's number down there or something.
Exactly.
Meet some manager or whatever. That's another thing that I see a lot of people too. They will pass up the important people to get to the star.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When the star can't really help you.
Exactly.
Like you think that they can. It's the manager, it's the A&R, you know, it's the people around them that's helping them be successful, but you pass them up, move out the way, I got to get to such and such, you know. And I mean, have you seen that a lot, or is that just me? Cause
no, it's not just you. It's all the time, man.
Yeah,
it's all the time. So, I mean, that's a true statement. You know, like I said, people's priorities, it's messed up.
Yeah. You know, I know you're constantly evolving and constantly growing as an individual. What type of resources are you using to do that?
Honestly, just praying, fasting, the Word of God, reading. That's very important. Books, just a lot of various books, nothing in particular. And just trying to surround yourself around people who have a like mindset, people who have already achieved where you're trying to go.
Right.
One thing that I truly value and that I feel that I learn a lot from is surrounding myself around a lot of older people who have a lot of wisdom that can pour into me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times as kids we look at the older people and we like, we fail to realize we fail to realize that the older people really can kind of help. You know, help you along the way and give you some wisdom so you don't have to bump your head so many times.
Right.
You know, so that's pretty much what's working for me, man. You know, just trying to, you know, surround myself around like-minded people and, like I said, people who, like older people who can pour some wisdom into me.
So how do you balance the music industry part of you with your family part of you? Like, what's the balance?
For me, this is what I've learned, and just to share a testimony. I was married once before, and I lost my marriage and my family due to the music industry because I was so focused on music and stuff and being successful in that light and trying to be. I was focused so much on the fact of, I guess, everybody else saying Charles is the man, so I failed to realize what was most important, and that was my family saying Charles is the man. So now I'm remarried and trying to do this all over again. So now my primary focus is my family, and then everything else just, you know, comes secondary.
Right.
So that's pretty much how I'm balancing it now. You know, just trying to put everything in its rightful place, rightful order. And, you know, just allow God to do what he has to do for me.
Yeah. What's the message of the season for you?
Right now, man, the message that God been pretty much giving me is that we're pretty much in a season of sifting, where God is dividing those who are real from those who are fake. And that's why we're seeing so many people falling by the wayside. We're seeing so many people who we look up to being exposed, because, you know, God is pretty much we're in a season where God is cleaning house. You know, he's trying to he's separating those who real from those who just talk and game. And so he's trying to wake us up because, you know, time is drawing up, and that's pretty much the message he's been giving me. You know, it's like I'm constantly being reminded that, you know, like the Bible says, in the end times when Christ gets a return, it's going to be like the days of Noah, where everybody was just taking things for granted. And we're pretty much in that time now where people are taking, you know, Christ for granted. And I'm not even talking about the world. I'm talking about the church. You know, about, you know, us. We taking it for granted. You know, even church itself has become just a tradition. You know, we just going through the motions. We've learned, you know, we have, you know, it's to the point now where we've even learned the proper techniques to worship God in church. You know what I'm saying?
It's become a science.
It has. It's like it's become a science, man. Like, you know the right time to lift your hands. Right. You know the right, you know, type of tongue to say in this particular, you know. So everything is just a rehearse, but, like, you know, it's more to it than that, man.
Yeah.
And Christ is trying to wake us up, man. He's trying to get us away from, you know, the foolishness, because it's, you know, his return is coming near. So
yeah,
that's what been hitting me hard.
You know what's funny about what you're talking about, man? I heard this one guy talk about, I know how, like, he knew how to make people raise their hands and stand up. It's just to modulate, you know.
It is, man. I was just talking to my wife recently, man. We was having a conversation, and we were talking about, people that's considered to be anointed, but lifestyle's not lining up, but we'll classify them as anointed because they have the ability to go into a room and they can shift the atmosphere. They can cause people to cry and lift their hands. Yeah. But then I told her, I said, well, if that's the case, if that's what we consider to be, someone who's anointed, I said, well, that means Michael Jackson is anointed. Beyonce is anointed, because when they don't even have to walk in the room, man. Right. Beyonce posts something on Facebook, the whole internet just goes bananas. Because something that she posted on Facebook. So therefore, that makes her anointed for what she's doing.
Wow.
So it's like, what are you anointed for?
Right.
So
appreciate you coming, man. Like, seriously, important your wisdom. Before we go though, at the end of the podcast and everything, we like to do what's called rapid fire questions and everything. We throw something at you, just see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So, you game for it?
Sure.
All right. So let's say you're stranded on a desert island, right? Have no resources whatsoever to get off and everything. And so let's say you can bring one thing with you, like some kind of resource. Let's say a book, magazine, or internet, or whatever it is. It's just what can't you live without? You have to have on the desert island, like your phone or something like that, or whatever.
Oh man, I would say the one thing I probably can't live without being super spiritual and saying God is my phone.
Yep.
And that's because my whole life is on my phone. Man. Yeah. From all my books that I read on my phone, everything that I need is literally on my phone. Man.
Yeah.
So
that's I can imagine a lot of people have that type of constraint, man. So all right, so if there were no hindrances in your life, let's say no as far as time, money, location, or anything, what would you do? What would your day look like?
If there were no restraints as far as time, money, honestly, man, my day would probably be trying to figure out ways that I can be a blessing to somebody else. That's really ultimately my primary focus. Even when I was into the music industry, we used to have like a lot of concerts and stuff. But what a lot of people didn't know is a lot of those concerts that we used to have, we used to take all the profits from those concerts and we used to donate the profits to non-profit organizations, like to the homeless. Or we would take that money and and go feed homeless kids or treat them to a pizza night or something like that, or buy Foot Locker gift cards so they can get shoes and stuff like that. So that would honestly be what I would try to focus on, man. If nothing was a restraint for me, it would be trying to figure out how I can be a blessing to somebody else.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice that I probably ever received that has always stuck with me was something that Aaron Lindsay told me years ago, and it always stuck with me. He said, whatever it is that you're doing in life, no matter what it is, he said, always do it to the best of your ability. He said, the reason why, he said, a lot of times, even in the music industry, he said, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll take people who we consider to be great and we'll put everything into it. But then we may have somebody who we think is not as talented or may not have certain resources, and we just kind of give them anything. And he said, what you fail to realize is the person who you may consider to be great your work may only go as far as that particular individual. But the person who you may consider to be not as talented, you never know what resources that they may have or who they may be connected to. So he said, when you're doing something, your work is speaking for you. It's your name, it's who you are. So whatever it is that you're doing, always give 110%. Because he mentioned, he said, when you're faithful over the few things, God will make you ruler over many. So he said everything that you go out to do, always give 110%, no matter what it is, who it's for, and he said you'll watch the growth as time goes on.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. What would you tell your younger self? What you know now, if you can go back, some years, when you first got started with music and, really kind of got interested in it, what's the advice that you would give your younger self?
The advice I would give my younger self would be prioritize. We have to prioritize what it is that we want or trying to accomplish. A lot of times when people come to me and they ask me, they come to me and they'll be like, well, hey, Chuck, I'm trying to put out an album. I'm trying to make some music. I need to know what's the proper way of marketing myself, or what are the steps that I need to take as it relates to just trying to be, doing music. Mm-hmm. And so the question that I always ask them, I say, well, what is your purpose for doing it? What is your priority for why you're doing this? Are you doing this because of from a ministry standpoint? Or are you doing this because you just want to be an artist? And the reason I ask that question is because if you're trying to be an artist, your steps is totally different from if you're trying to do it as, from a ministerial standpoint. Mm-hmm. So I guess the advice that I would give myself is I would have to, figure out why you're doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. What is your ultimate purpose? What is your ultimate goal? For what do you plan to accomplish? And then once you figure that out, then you figure out the steps to accomplishing that.
Right. What's your we're kind of ending everything, and if you could give some advice to some of the artists that are out there right now, the people that's listening to this podcast, what parting piece of advice would you give them to be successful in the music industry?
The advice I would give to the younger generation is, of course, keep Christ number one, of course. But the advice I would probably give the upcoming artists is to surround yourself around people who doing what you're doing, and then not just surround yourself, but support other people.
Yeah, so key.
Support other people, especially in this generation. It's like nobody really wants to support anybody. Everybody's they want to get it on their own.
Right.
And the thing that you fail to realize is that everybody needs somebody.
Yeah.
And you don't want to burn bridges neither. Mm-hmm. So support somebody else. Sow into your ministry. Sow into your artistry by sowing into somebody else.
Right.
So that's the advice I would give. First, be a servant to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Get under somebody else who's doing it and serve them like it's your own.
Yeah.
Treat it like it's your own, because, as you are sowing into that person's ministry or that person's artistry, you're also sowing into yours.
Yeah.
So that's the advice that I would give somebody. Also, learn your craft.
Please say that again.
Learn your craft. Yeah. And I mean learn it from every aspect. Like I said earlier, one of the greatest tools that they gave me when I first got into the industry was to learn every aspect of it. Know something about it, from the recording portion of it. Of course, your craft. If you're a singer, of course you learn your craft musically, as far as the singing portion of it. Or if you're a producer, whatever it is, or a rapper, learn your craft, but also learn the other elements of it. Learn the engineering side. Mm-hmm. Learn what compression is. Learn what EQs are and what they do. Right. Or different reverbs. Learn what all of these things do. Learn the business side of it.
Yes.
Real quick before we go, there are a lot of artists that I ran into who they recorded a project. They wrote all of their songs. They even played a part in the production side of it, because they may not have been able to literally play different things, but they were able to coach the person who was as far as what they want, which is a part of the production process. You're really kind of producing it.
Yeah.
So they had all of these elements. They recorded a project. They paid thousands of dollars to get it recorded. They got it recorded. They put it out, and now they no longer own any of their music.
Wait, what?
They don't even own the rights. They don't own the copyrights to their music. Why? Because they paid and entrusted somebody else, because they didn't want to take the time to learn it for themselves.
Wow.
They paid somebody else. So the person who they paid to take care of it for them, that's who's getting all of their residuals.
Royalties and everything. That's crazy.
All of the online sales that takes place, they not even getting paid for it. It's the people who they paid to take care of it, because they didn't take the time to learn the proper process.
Wow, and that's something, it's free information.
Free information.
And free information, that means it's on YouTube,
Yeah.
And
YouTube is on Google.
and it's in books. This is one thing that I've learned about, success in everything, is that everything, like your whole process of how we become billionaires, how we become millionaires, how we become successful in whatever industry it is, it's literally written in books.
Yeah.
It's right before our eyes. The fact of the matter is, like the slavery days back in the day, they didn't know that they were free because they couldn't read.
Right.
Nowadays, we don't know that we have all of this freedom and a path to get to where we're trying to get to. It's because we don't read.
Right. And what's sad about it is, in this particular generation, like there's absolutely no excuse why.
No excuse.
Because everything is at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as simple as, and everybody has a smartphone.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
Even
Phone's smarter
homeless.
than you.
Even homeless people got smartphones, man.
Wow.
So there's no excuse why we don't have knowledge.
Paying the bill and everything.
Right. There's no excuse, man, why we don't have the knowledge that we need,
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it's really no excuse,
That's
it's just
crazy.
a matter of you just not wanting to take the time to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah, please learn the business side of it. Learn every aspect that there is, because the more knowledge you have, the more your worth is.
Mm-hmm.
People take you more serious at that point. At that point, you know what it is you want. You can pretty much tell people what you want.
Yeah.
And you pretty much become the CEO of your own.
That's what it is. That's
of
what
your
it
own
is.
project.
It's your company.
Right.
It's your business. That's what you have to understand, is that all these other people, they work for you.
Yeah.
You make the final decision on what what you want to do, because the vision was given to you by God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how you gonna tell somebody else? How somebody else gonna come into your life and tell you what God told you to do?
Right.
That's backwards. You don't have a relationship with God if that's the issue. Right. So how can people get in contact with you?
Oh man, you can find me on Facebook, Chanier. I'm on Instagram at C2P Music, and that's about it. Well, I have other stuff that I don't really check those.
Yeah. Just get at him. Get at him. One of the legends in the game, man. I so appreciate this dude. You don't know how long I've been watching you, bro. Like, for real. Like, I mean, all of the stuff that you've been doing over the years, and man, it's just good to see that you're still doing it, man. Like, for real. Man, get at this guy, man. I appreciate you once again for coming through. And, oh man, this is a blast. So, this is Victor Smith, your music mentor, saying jumpstart your city by jumpstarting your career and your ministry. Let us show you how. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to Jumpstart, the podcast designed for recording artists looking to jumpstart their cities by jumpstarting their careers and their ministry. This has been Victor, your music mentor. And if you would like more information about the Jumpstart initiative, visit www.sanctifiedsound.org. Thank you for listening.